Many of us remember the old-fashioned knit nurse who checked our hair and gave us the occasional talk on puberty.
I remember her being very prim and proper and unapproachable, really.
Well, I always imagine the school nurses coming around and checking kids' heads for nits and things.
I can only ever see my school nurse once, I think, when I was in before I went into secondary school, and she came in just to talk to the girls, and I think the boys went outside to play football.
When it comes to keeping our children healthy, the role of school nurses has changed considerably, as they are now the only health professionals to regularly attend schools.
Oh, that's lovely.
Whether you're a teacher or a school nurse, in this programme we'll be looking at the work of school nurses today and how it's developing in response to the increasingly diverse needs of primary schools.
98.5 centimetres. What a big boy.
This is Elsa Chadaway, a school nurse team leader based in Coventry. She's part of a 16-strong team that cover the city's 130 schools. That's 46,000 children.
About 18 months ago, we changed the way that we worked. So we now have teams of nurses. So we have a more experienced nurse working with a less experienced nurse and with a healthcare assistant. And they have a group of schools, so they run a corporate caseload between the three of them.
My name's Anne Curzons and I work as a senior school nurse at Woodend Health Centre. I'm a band 6. I head a team of 3 other school nurses.
Hi, my name's Mandy Coombs. I've been school nursing for 18 months. I work as a band 5 school nurse.
Hi, my name's Teresa Tompkins. I'm a school health assistant. I've been working for the school nurses for 18 months and I'm a band 2.
Anne's team works alongside other nursing agencies and right at the heart of the schools they serve. It's another change for the better and means nurses are better equipped to do the job in hand.
When I entered 8 years ago, we were all the same grade. There were no school nurse assistants. We were doing all our own clerical work. So there was none of that definition of role. And I think you've got lots of experienced school nurses doing the wrong things they were doing paperwork, which really, we're qualified nurses. So what I thought we'd do, just go through the diaries for the rest of the week and see what else we've got on. OK, so tomorrow.
Our more experienced nurses have a qualification in school nursing. Sometimes that is a certificate in school nursing, sometimes it's the degree in school nursing. This is the gold standard, this is the degree that we want them to have.
I have a parent coming to the health centre and I'm also attending a medical.
OK, and what's the teaching session?
Von Willebrand syndrome.
Oh, right, OK. OK, if you could just stand on the scales for me, Ethan.
Just for the record, routine screening for nits is no longer done, although, of course, the nurse will help if there's a problem.
Stand to attention, and I'm just going to slide this bit down and put it on your head.
In fact, the only routine screening done by school nurses in Coventry these days is a height and weight check within 12 months of starting school.
Come on, pop your shoes back on then. Good boy.
Across the road from the health centre is Moat House Primary School. 75% of its pupils are eligible for free school meals, the highest rate in the city. As part of the government's New Deal for Communities initiative, each child receives a new toothbrush and paste every 12 weeks. And today, Anne's here to teach them how to use it.
Today, I've come into one of my primary schools. We're doing some dental work with the children. I've brought my puppet with me, which is nice and visual because the children like that. They're only year 1, year 2 children. So I think nice and hands-on for them. And it's about the children being able to help themselves, how to look after themselves, how to care for their teeth for the future. Here he is. Hello.
Hello.
Within our caseload of the primary schools, we try to get into the schools at least once every 2 weeks. What do you think Christopher does to look after his teeth? What sort of things does he do?
Brushes them.
He brushes them. Good boy, well done.
Well, it's absolutely fabulous the way it ties in with the curriculum, particularly science and PSHE, because the science curriculum does relate very closely to the health of their teeth and keeping healthy, eating healthily.
Show me how you think you should clean Christopher's teeth. Oh, she's doing the insides first, children. Very good. Excellent.
She just brings freshness to the day. It's very different to me. It's very different order to what they're used to.
32 teeth. And that's how many you will have when you're an adult and all your teeth have come through. So there's lots of teeth to look after, aren't there?
And she's an expert, which, I haven't got the same expertise.
With many other schools to look after, Anne also uses this valuable visit to liaise with head teacher Peter James on other health issues affecting the school.
We discuss some of the families that we deal with in the context of looked after children. Perhaps there have been referrals to social services. We've got child protection conferences coming up or core review meetings. A family's recently arrived with us and we've had a phone call from their previous school. One thing about attendance issues, but sometimes it may be a referral by a neighbour that they have some concerns about a family. They will contact social services and health, and social services will contact us for some background information and would be informed from the health point of view. So we would have a discussion about any issues that both parties are aware of.
I brought the folder in, Pete. It's got all the referral forms in that teachers can refer. So there's the CAMS referral in there, CAMS being for the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Services. Yeah. Okay. Again, that's Discovery and Caddy. Any children are worried about talking about strangers, they can know they do some work with children. I've put some leaflets in there, there's some head lice ones, there's some threadworm in there that you can give out to any parents.
All right, well what I'll do, I'll show that at the next SMT meeting so all the staff are aware.
Okay.
But Anne's role isn't confined to the school premises. She often finds herself teaming up with other agencies, in this case the local education welfare officer, to help to pay some of her clients a visit at home.
Today we're actually coming to visit Mrs White. Her son James has been missing a lot of school and it looks as if there's some asthma problems, so I've actually brought the school nurse along and we're going to have a time chatting with her to see if we can work together, hopefully in partnership, to improve his attendance. I'm the Education Welfare Officer and this is Anne Curzon's the school nurse. Okay. James, we've come today because we're really worried about the time you're missing from school. And I understand you've had a lot of problems with your asthma and you're not been too good today, but how do you get on with your work?
Quite well, but because I'm missing quite a bit, I'm going behind.
Are you? You're aware that you're going behind?
Yeah.
So are there some days when actually you really don't feel like going?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about when you go to bed. What time do you go?
I go to bed at 10. But normally I just watch DVDs till 1.
Ah, right. Okay, so you're actually going to sleep quite late. So Mum looks a bit surprised there. I didn't think Mum knew about that, did you, Mum?
No, I didn't.
Right, so you're actually going to sleep quite late.
Yeah.
First thing, let's talk about your asthma, shall we? Okay, so you've got your blue inhaler. So I think the first thing you need to do is to get him started on the brown inhalers, all right? And they're a steroid inhaler. So what I want you to do is to do 2 puffs at night time on the brown inhaler, just as you go to bed, and then 2 puffs in the morning as soon as you wake up. Okay. But your blue one you can use to top up. So if you're feeling a little bit short of breath, or you're going off to play football or do your PE at school, you need to use your inhaler before.
Take it in when I do PE at school.
Yeah, have you not got one in school then? No, an inhaler at school, right, yeah, we need to get an inhaler at school. You need one at home that you can take out playing and one that you leave in school all the time. So Mum, you need to go to the GP and get another prescription for another inhaler, for a spare inhaler for him.
Most kids of this age are actually at home with parentally condoned absence. A lot of it is actually authorised for medical reasons. And it makes a huge difference if together we can actually improve attendance. Very often they're issues that parents think are medical and maybe they're not as severe as they think, or actually sometimes they actually do need some sound medical advice that will make a difference to their youngsters. And by working together it actually saves time for both of us, but it's actually a more efficient way of meeting with parents. And in partnership is actually the only way that we're actually going to make a difference to some of these kids' attendance. Okay. Well, I'm going to check again in a few weeks' time and hopefully it will be a very different attendance certificate, yeah? Okay.
Nice to meet you.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
Child protection conferences take up a major part of the school nurse's caseload and priorities. As the health advisor, it's the nurse's responsibility to compile a report on the child's well-being.
We get a notification of initial child protection conference, normally only 7 to 10 days notice, and the notification will give us the child's details and a brief outline of what the concerns are. Teresa has to collect the child's records from Galston Clinic and bring them back up here to the health centre, and we then have to prepare a report going through those health records of all the initial birth, all the health sessions they attended with the health visitor, any concerns that were raised, any health contact at all has to be put into that report ready for the case conference.
All the agencies involved with that family will be invited to a conference to share information about the family and children. then a decision is made at the conference whether the child or the children are at risk of harm.
If we feel that is the case, that child's name will be held on the Child Protection Register. A plan will be put together to address the needs of that child and that family.
And then at the end of the conference, another date to review that plan is made. In between that conference and the next review conference, core groups will happen. And core group is a smaller meeting of the agencies that are particularly involved in that family and in actually carrying out the child protection plan.
And then we normally go back to conference either after 3 or 6 months to review how things are going. So, we play one of the core members of the team really making the decisions. Well, following the conference, it was decided that this child was thought to be at risk of significant harm, and we've decided to place that child's name on the Child Protection Register. We've drawn up a child protection plan today, and the social services will be doing a full core assessment, and that's where they look at all the needs of the family, identify those needs, and look at the parenting capacity as well.
So while the majority of our children are safe and cared for, sadly, there's always a number that aren't.
Between the team, we can hold up to 19 children on our child protection register. I think at the moment we have 17 children, and that's a lot of time.
But increasing workloads are taking their toll. With government initiatives such as the Healthy Schools campaign, which nurses are heavily involved in, and extended schools programmes which rely on their specialist health skills, there just aren't enough hours in the day.
You just feel like you're just scraping the surface all the time. I said, I get into my schools once every 2 weeks. I'd love to be in my schools every day if I could, at least once a week. I think the school need a school nurse. The primary schools at least once a week. Secondary schools need a school nurse on site Monday to Friday 9 till 3 to be able to offer the level of service that young people need. So that's very frustrating.
The Royal College of Nursing, just one of the organisations that represents nurses, recently undertook the largest survey of school nurses ever. Results show each school nurse looks after around 8 schools and 3,000 children, often during term time only, as most work part-time.
Looking at the national requirement for school nurses to meet the government's own target of having one whole-time, all-year-round school nurse for each senior school and its feeder primary schools, the RCN have calculated that the government need to actually double the number of school nurses.
Added to that is the fact that current restructuring of pay scales is creating uncertainty among Britain's school nurses.
How many pieces of fruit should you have a day or vegetables, do you know?
But that hasn't put Anne off. In fact, she wouldn't give up her job for the world.
I love doing the teaching side of it. That's what I love, and that's what I loved doing when I was on the wards, really. Actually getting health education across, health messages across. So to empower people, knowledge is power, and by empowering people, you help with their decision-making process. And if we can get into young children now, get the face of the school nurse known and seen, as they get into secondary schools, hopefully they will use us more as an agency to come through for advice.